Are you confused by the buzzwords of sustainability? Join me on a quest to demystify the environmental jargon. Together, we will decode the keys to a greener future. Get ready for a knowledge-packed journey that will empower you to make a difference. Let's go! Welcome to Therealzero. My name is Daniel Gallardo. I'm an architect and project director specialized in climate neutrality, and I'm going to share with you strategies and tools for building climate neutral. The path towards a sustainable future is full of strategies, methodologies, theories, and more technical terms, which can get mixed up and mislead us to understand what is really happening. Today, I'm going to clarify the main measures that applies to climate mitigation in the construction industry with practical cases from my own professional experience. Are you ready? Let's dip into it. There are many different sustainability concepts addressing environmental challenges for moving towards a more sustainable and climate-friendly future. On the first spot is carbon neutral and net zero carbon. It might sound like the same thing, but they are not. Both carbon neutral and net zero carbon aims to achieve the neutrality of greenhouse gases, but their methodologies are different. A carbon neutral project can be claimed by measuring the produced greenhouse gas emissions during its life cycle and then offsetting the balance through financed projects outside of its value chain, without actually producing its own emissions. This practice is used, for example, in cases where we are developing a building with extraordinary features like security requirements, where the use of specific materials like reinforced concrete or steel are necessary and cannot be done with more environmental-friendly material. In that case, it is hard to decrease the carbon footprint during design and construction phases, obliging us to find another way to compensate. In this practice, carbon offsets are being bought through carbon credits. Carbon credits are rights that can be traded both in private and public markets and are connected to activities that lower the carbon dioxide of the atmosphere. These activities fund projects that either lower or sequester CO2, which means that they remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and store it. Some common carbon storage projects are reforestation, building renewable energy, biomass with carbon removal and storage, mineralization, and waste and landfill management. If you want to know more about carbon credits and carbon offset, let me know in the comments. Offsetting is a very good tool for developers trying to switch their building stock into sustainability by indirectly investing in climate mitigation projects. It is a way to accelerate the improvement of these activities and reducing greenhouse gas emissions from the atmosphere. On the other hand, it is a controversial tool that does not stimulate to take action, eliminating the inclusion of new carbon footprint into the atmosphere. This can lead to a higher amount of carbon dioxide, which is not in line with taking climate action, producing the very known greenwashing. On the other hand, net zero carbon projects cover a holistic perspective of the measures for achieving decarbonization. In this practice, it measures the produced greenhouse gas emissions during the building's entire life cycle, from transportation of materials, building processes, use of the building, till the construction, for then offsetting the balance inside, reducing its own emissions, and outside compensating if proceed. Net zero carbon processes assures that the carbon footprint of the building is reduced inside out, minimizing greenhouse gas emissions as much as possible from an early stage, and avoiding offsetting big amounts of CO2 as it happened in claimed carbon-neutral projects. Taking measures and actions for optimizing the design, materials, construction processes, waste, and more. Together with energy performance strategies, it is possible to achieve the net zero status. In the case of offsetting, we will make use of clean energy production on site, as for example solar energy production. Check my previous video here, where I share my top 5 strategies for building net zero if you want to know more. Sometimes it might not be possible to achieve a full offsetting strategy, even producing our own energy, as it happened for us when we were designing the first net zero carbon certified building in Sweden. Here, we minimized the carbon footprint of the building in the material and production phases of the life cycle assessment as much as we could, and implemented a full solar roof producing clean energy for the building. But it wasn't enough. We had to make use of another facility that the developer owned and build renewable solar energy production on top of that for the small amount of uncovered CO2 that this building produced. Net zero carbon aligns towards the global goals, and it is a trustful tool for achieving climate neutrality from a sustainability point of view. On the other hand, it put the cost on the design team and process, materials and construction, which can be more expensive than buying only carbon credits. And last but not least, net zero energy, which focuses on ensuring that the energy consumed by a building is balanced by an equivalent amount of renewable energy generated on-site or off-site. Optimizing energy consumption and energy systems has been and is one of the top first strategies for climate mitigation. According to the Swedish Environmental Protection Agency, countries like Sweden has been able to reduce their greenhouse gas emissions 92% since 1990 in their residential and commercial buildings because of changing their heating systems. The reason is that all energy systems can be easily replaced by new, modern, climate-friendly ones, consuming much lower rates of energy. Net zero energy is a great strategy for renovation and restoration of existing buildings. Working with net zero energy processes involves installing energy-efficient building systems, using solar panels or wind turbines for on-site energy generation, and adopting smart technologies to manage and optimize energy consumption. This also includes optimizing energy efficiency in building design, utilizing renewable energy sources, and potentially integrating energy storage solutions. Net zero energy is an evidence-based system that assures reduction in the decarbonization process for the existing building stock. On the other hand, the production of some of these systems takes big amount of greenhouse gas emissions, and in the case of accumulating solar energy, batteries are not the most environmental friendly options. That's all for now, or wait, what is that? Oh yeah, it's a bonus! Carbon negative. Carbon negativity in construction involves actively removing more carbon dioxide from the atmosphere than is emitted during the entire life cycle of a building. That is the cream of the top in terms of sustainability, mixing the best of net zero carbon and net zero energy. Carbon negativity includes using materials that absorb carbon, such as sustainable wood products, or implementing carbon capture technologies and the top-notch renewable energy production systems. It can also incorporate landscaping strategies supporting reforestation on site or using innovative technologies to capture and store carbon emissions generated during construction and operation. Working towards carbon negativity might sound like an utopia, but the reality is that there are many buildings working as carbon sinks in the wall. Having applied all the tools and strategies for decarbonization, sequestering carbon, reducing energy consumption, and producing renewable energy for supplying other buildings. We made it! We have decoded all the keys to a greener future. Now is your time to apply these tools and strategies and contribute to a better sustainable built future. That's all for now. I hope you enjoyed this content and it was helpful. If you like it, support the channel by subscribing down here and give us a thumbs up. And don't forget to let me know what would you like to know more about climate neutrality in the comments. Thank you for watching and we'll see you in the next video.